Hi everybody, just a quick video to help everybody out with practicing their notes and rests, and for any of the classes that didn't get to see me this week, or for any reason if you missed the lesson on the names of the notes and rests, I'm going to go over the same lesson that I did in class. It's also a good video to review. Just a quick reminder that even if you did not see me, absences or field trips or whatever the case may be, that the first class this week we're checking homework number 5, and homework number 6 is being issued as well. So make sure you have homework 5 and 6 ready to get checked if you are one of the classes that won't see me until next week. In the meantime, I'm going to be very quick about this, and we're going to go right to the notes and rests, and hopefully if this helps you, you can even use Rewind or use it to study before the test that we have coming in just a couple of weeks. Here we go. Okay, make sure you have page 23 and that you have a pen or a pencil if you have not written in the names of the notes and rests yet. Anybody who did not have class and go over this will be expected, like all the other students, to come in with the first and last name written in to the right of each of the symbols. And all classes are expected to come in with these memorized. So hopefully if you already did this in class, you're using this as a review. On the left-hand side, there are notes. Notes come in a circular shape, whether they're colored in or not, whether they have a stem or not. They make sound. On the right, we have rests. They come in all kinds of different shapes, and they make silence. Take a rest. Now I'm going to show you memory tricks because I do expect everybody, even though this is kind of a review, since kindergarten you've been looking at notes and rests, but I'm going to expect everybody to definitely have these memorized when they show up to class. So I'm going to show you some memory tricks. Let's think about our brain for a second. Okay, so this is a really terrible looking person here, and I'm so sorry he looks kind of funky, but I did remember to give him at least a piece of hair. Short-term memory. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it's not this big round thing in the top of your head, but it is an area in your brain that has, in short-term memory, only 7 places to hold information temporarily until you study it, think about it, memorize it, put it in your long-term memory. We have 10 symbols to memorize. So the first memory trick, because I'm going to teach you a few, is to get to know your brain and understand that one of the best ways that you can get information that's more than 7 items, like big vocabulary lists, into your brain is to get them into 7 or less categories. And that's what we're going to do. Instead of thinking this is 10 symbols that we have to memorize, we're going to think of it as 5 first names, because every note has a partner rest, and they share the same first name. So as long as we can identify that the notes have round tummies and the rests are in odd shapes, we only have to remember its first name and then say it's a something note or a something rest. This is over here because math is involved, and this is going to be our little math helper pie as we go through the names so we can understand the math connection. Here we go. I'm going to ask the same questions that I did in class. If this was gigantic and it was in the street, what would you call it? What if you could fall into it? What would you call it? If you said a hole, you're already on the way to calling this a whole note. Make sure that you write the name to the right of the symbol. Now over here, if this is his partner, they share the same first name, but he doesn't have a tummy, so he's got to be a rest. Hopefully you've already figured it out. This is a whole rest. Make sure you write the name there. Now, this is easy enough because it looks like a hole. But what about this? Use your imagination when you're remembering things. Let's pretend that you're down under the ground looking at this from the side. What might it look like from the side? How about an in-ground pool? That's right. What's an in-ground pool but a hole? Can't imagine it? Here's our little dude, and he's getting ready to dive in to the pool. Let's come over to the pie. Cut it in half. Yeah, if you haven't guessed already, the next note down, a hole with a stick that cut it in half, is a half note. Make sure you write the name to the right. And that's kind of the memory trick for this one. This still has a hole. It's not colored in. It's just like that guy, except that there's a stick added to it. When you see the hole with a stick, think about how it got cut in half. How about this? Have you got how this goes yet? If that's a half note, what is this guy's name? If you guessed half rest, you're correct. Make sure you write half rest next to his symbol. Now, how am I going to remember this? Well, look at it. Look at it really close. Alright, so it's not the most perfect one, but if you could wear it on your head, what would you call it? A hat? Did you say a hat? Did you say a hat? Oh my goodness, you're almost already saying it. When you see the hat, remember it starts already saying the name. Hat is the half. Hat is the half. Alright, cut the pie again. Yep, we're down to quarter notes. Quarter notes have colored in tummies, or officially called note heads. And quarter notes are the most simple, everyday, regular type note of all of them. Colored in tummy, note head, with a stem. And this is the one that I think is kind of hard to memorize because it's so simple. How about you remember this? If that's a quarter note, what's its partner's name? Quarter rest. How about you attach the simplest note to the fanciest rest? Quarter note, quarter rest. Quarter note, quarter rest. Why am I saying them over and over? Research shows if you say things out loud while you're studying them, you have a better chance of remembering them. Because the language part of your brain is connected to your memory too. And saying things out loud helps people to remember things. How about this? I tried this silly story in school. The simplest note, if I gave you markers and said draw notes all over the walls, this would be what shows up the most. It's the most popular of all the notes. It's also the simplest. How about you think about what life would be like if your financial decisions were as simple as follows. All you get every week for allowance is a quarter. Your big decision would be, do I want the gumball or not? Okay, that's silly. Stick to that simple, fancy. How about this? Research shows if you study vocabulary from the top down, over and over, you're going to get the bottom ones on the list wrong on the quiz or the test. We didn't need any research to tell us that, did we? We already know it. And if you know how your brain works, you can do something to tackle these problems. So don't study from the top down all the time. Why don't you study from the middle up this time? Make the quarter note and the quarter rest the first ones you memorize, and then go up. Well, give those a shot, and let's move on to cut the pie again. That's right. Next guy's name is cute little guy with a flag. Eighth note. E-I-G-H-T-H note. That reminds me. Don't ever write the names of the notes using numbers. Always spell them out with letters and words. Why? Because when we do the 16th note and find out it gets a fourth of a beat, but you have a fourth of a note written up here, oh my goodness, you're going to get mixed up. Don't do that. Whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note, write them with words so you don't mess up when you get to the beats studying. And if that's an eighth note, his buddy's name is, you guessed it, eighth rest. Make sure you have eighth rest written in next to that symbol. Now how are you going to do the next memory trick? Always attach new information to old in your memory. In other words, if you want to remember something, then take the new information and glue it next to something you already know really well. So, here's what you'll do with this. You see that note? See how cute he is? He's got that little flag thing going. He's adorable. Teacher's favorite. This is Mrs. Himmel's favorite note, the cute little flag. Oh my goodness, she loves it. Never forget your teacher's favorite. Okay, so it's silly, but silly is good. How about this one? What number does that look like? If you said 7, well, good for you. Now add 1. That's right. It's the only one that looks like a number. When you see the one that looks like a number, just add 1 to it. You're saying its name. Let's cut the pie again. What's the next guy going to be called? Oh my goodness, it's starting to look like a bicycle. 16th note. This is seemingly very busy. 16th note. And if that's the 16th note, his partner's name is? Yes, it is. 16th rest. Well, how am I going to remember this? I have a trick. You see how the 16th note has a double flag? And the 16th rest is doubled as well. Double flag. Double flag. They're the only symbols that have in their name a double E. Glue them together. Double flag, double E. Double flag, double E. Play games when you try to memorize things. Make sure that you learn about your brain and how your memory works. And once you do, use all the tricks in the book. Look at it. Say it out loud. Write it. Study from the middle up and not always down. Draw little pictures and connect old information to the new that you're trying to get into your mind. Maybe stick a few games in. 7 plus 1. Simple. A hole you could fall into. Add the next layer. A hole with a stick that cut it in half. Teacher's pet. Double flag, double E, double flag, double E. The hat is the half. You try all these, and if you have to hit rewind a few times, then do so. Make sure you show up to class next week ready to show me that you have memorized these symbols. Not 10. Don't think 10. Only 7 slots in your memory. 5 first names. Whole, half, quarter, 8, 16. And you're going to come to class happy. See you in class, everybody.